Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Securing Data and Access in the Era of AI webinar series. I'm Diana Vicesar, Product Marketing Manager on the Microsoft Entra team, and it's been a blast being your host throughout this week of the webinar. We've had a packed week covering key scenarios for Microsoft Entra and Microsoft Purview to help your organization secure data, govern access, and reduce risk across your AI journey. If you missed any of our previous sessions, you can now view them on demand. Today, we are joined by Jivan Bish, Principal PM Manager for Microsoft Entra, and Safina Began-Lepakshi, Principal PM Manager for Microsoft Purview. They will be discussing practical ways to unlock AI agents while keeping access and data protection aligned with your enterprise security needs. Just like our second session this week, we will host a Q&A with our product experts at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions come up throughout the session, please leave them in the comments. Well, now, without further ado, let's welcome Jivan and Safina. Thank you so much, you both, for being here today. Safina, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Sure. Thank you, Dana, for the warm welcome. Hi, everyone. My name is Safina, and I'm a Principal PM Manager at Microsoft, leading Purview Customer Acceleration Team, where we partner with enterprise customers to accelerate the data security, compliance, and governance journey with Microsoft Purview. Thank you for joining. Excited to dive in today.
Thank you, Safina. Jivan, tell us more about yourself.
Hey, I'm Jivan Bish. I'm a Principal PM Manager at Microsoft Security. Love working with the customers, love working on incubation products, focus on Entra.
Awesome. Well, Jivan, take it away.
To begin with, let's talk about agents, right? So the one ground rule is that to unlock the full potential of agentic AI, we need to start with trust, and trust starts with security. With that, let's just hop over to a model which kind of talks about the whole landscape, right? So the idea is no matter who you are, where the request is coming from, with Entra, you have one home to enable secure access for everything, everywhere. The access fabric unites identity and network access into one dynamic defense. They share signals and they amplify each other's. Identity establishes who has access, and the network continuously validates trust in every session based on the identity signals. Think of this as a real-time safety net. Identity and network access work as one across AI apps, internet traffic, and private sources, all under one unified policies.
And with Purview, you also have one home to manage how data should be secured across the data estate, no matter where it lives, is used, or travels. It enables a holistic way to prevent organizational data from reaching untrusted users and locations outside of the organizational trust boundary.
With agents today, you can think about them in two broad categories. Local agents, some things that you have control over, that you can identify, which are running in your own organization and infrastructure, and the cloud agents that might be running on the cloud or third-party SaaS apps. But it should not matter when we talk about their protection. So let's come over to how we envision this with the Microsoft security ecosystem. So what you see here is an ecosystem with the Microsoft Internet Access at the center, extending its identity-centric SASE signal to securely enable AI adoption across the enterprise, where you can see any employee, any location, any agent, any device, any platform, regardless of where the AI is running, the traffic is securely routed through the Microsoft Internet Access. In the center is our continuous evaluation engine. Rather than relying on static policies, we continuously analyze our agent behavior, learn from the usage patterns, and refine policies in real time. This restores visibility into AI traffic, including some of the MCP connections, and enables administrators to make informed decisions. What you will also see is the AI services and the enterprise resources users interact with, including SaaS agents, cloud AI platforms, LLMs, MCP server, enterprise apps, and internet services. Based on the identity, context, and policies, internet access can allow or block access while inspecting traffic for threats such as prompt injection, data exfiltration, and risky URLs. The result is secure AI access with continuous visibility, adaptive policy enforcement, and consistent protection across the entire ecosystem. This kind of gives an overview of how we think about a system in general. Let's talk about this in the real world, how this is done in the Microsoft ecosystem. So what we bring here is a high-level view of the Microsoft security platform working towards a single goal of securing AI adoption across the enterprise. You can see there's AI running on the cloud through Copilot Studio, AI Foundry, or even locally on developer workstations and Windows 365. Microsoft provides a consistent security foundation, basically where Defender can come in, it can provide you endpoint protection and threat detection. Entra can enforce identity signal based through conditional access and continuous access evaluation. So global secure access network controls extend that identity into network. So instead of relying on traditional firewalls, policies are enforced based on user identity, device posture, application, and AI context. This includes signals from various Microsoft technologies like Purview, Defender, Intune, and that can result into destination filtering, data protection, prompt inspection, MCP control, read versus write permissions, and real-time allow or block decisions. Finally, as the AI agents connect to the LLM, enterprise applications, cloud services, or even on-premises resources, Microsoft Platform provides end-to-end visibility, unified platform enforcement, and continuous protection. So together with Defender, Entra, Purview, Global Secure Access, and A365, we can deliver a single integrated security architecture that enables organizations to adopt AI with confidence while maintaining governance, compliance, and controls. We will see some of this in action in the next few slides. So as we talk about some of these things, these are a reality today, right? We have a lot of features which are available today for you to try out and see this in real world. The net message is we can enable the organization to see, govern, and protect AI. We are restoring visibility into the AI activity, enforcing consistent policies, and stopping data threats and leakage using the power of Microsoft Security Platform. So with that, let's talk about the business value of these, right? So these controls really allow a business to protect sensitive data, eliminate the risk of AI-driven data leaks across storage and APIs, and not just direct access, right? Enforce zero trust for AI agents, right? Verify and control every action, not just access. Reduce the blast radius of the compromised agent. Limit what the agents can do, where they can go, and what they can change. At the end, the goal is to safely enable AI adoption, confidently deploy tools like OpenClaw with enterprise-grade governance without limiting your workforce ability to make an impact. Let's move on to see some of these in action. So we have a demo where we can see how you can enforce enterprise controls over local agents running in OpenClaw. So in this demo, what we want to show is we want to show you a clear difference between an agent-based enforcement versus a user-based enforcement. What we see in this demo is an OpenClaw project. We're trying to upload a file to a Google Drive, and the file upload is restricted. You can see Microsoft Internet Access blocked the data exfiltration, which was attempted by an agent. Now, what we want to do is, at the same time, look at the experience for a user. In this case, a user is trying to run an application with his own context, and we have a policy to allow the users, and you can see how seamlessly the file was able to upload, and all the security policies were checked, and based on that, the file upload was allowed. With that, we also want to look at how did we enable this. There's a simple security profile setting where we can create a policy just like other policies. And what you can see is in the log files, there's a clear differentiation between agent-based process versus user-based process. And based on that, we can decide what to enforce and what to allow. So with that, this demo clearly showed you on how we can differentiate between the user-based access policies versus agent-based access policies. And based on your company's requirement, enterprise requirements, we can enforce policies to enable a successful AI-based enforcement policy. Let's also talk about the visibility part. As I talked about earlier, we are not talking about specific products, we're talking about Microsoft ecosystem. In the previous slide, you saw how Entra was able to discover attributes and agents and the actions what we're doing. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to amplify and multiply signals across the Microsoft ecosystem. In this case, you are seeing an Agent 365 dashboard, which is enriched with data coming from Microsoft Global Secure Access and Entra. So you get one consolidated view with all the attributes of what's happening in your ecosystem. What you just saw here was how we can protect an APIs and protect our processes running from the AI agents. We do also have focus on data, which is an important part. Safina, why don't you take over?
Thank you, Jeevan. That was very insightful. Purview protects against AI agent risk across 3 dimensions: blocking sensitive data from leaking through agent interactions, enforcing least privilege access even when agents have broad permissions, and providing full audit trails for everything agents do. What makes this powerful is the breadth of coverage that you're looking at here, from local tools like desktop assistants and Visual Studio Code Copilot to cloud services like M365 Copilot and Azure AI Foundry, right? And the third-party AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, and all the way to the fully autonomous multi-step agentic workflows. And this layered approach ensures organizations can govern AI regardless of where the agent runs, which model it is used, and where the data originates. So rather than protecting the data at rest, we protect data in motion across the entire AI interaction lifecycle, covering the prompts, grounding, reasoning, responses, and agent actions across the first-party and the third-party ecosystems. So let's start with an end-user demo. This is your users and agents interacting with sensitive data. Let's meet Dean. Dean is a part of Java procurement team, and it's late in the day, and Dean has a whole bunch of procurements due to today. And as he needs to close a few deals, so he calls in Java procurement agent for help in order to summarize everything he needs. As you are looking at the demo, Java procurement agent jumps in like a pro, and it accesses all of this information and tries to summarize it. When the agent hits the first document, which has labeled as highly confidential, it stops, and then it goes happily accessing and summarizing the rest. This is Purview in action, enforcing least privilege access a runtime. The agent can only access what it is allowed to. Everything else stays sage, and the agent keeps going and summarizing the rest of the document. So in this example, Dean still gets the help that he needs without putting sensitive data at risk. Next, Dean here asks the agent to send a summary to an external client. And of course, the agent tries to do that. The Purview kicks in and detects sensitive information in the message and blocks it before anything leaves the organization. This is the existing DLP for email and continues working for agents as well. So this is preventing sensitive data leak and exfiltration. Now, that was my end user action. Now let's switch gears a little bit and then look at it from the perspective of a data security admin. Here, in the data security posture management under AI observability, I can see full list of all agents across the organization: Microsoft, non-Microsoft, 1P, and 3P. I see what sensitive data they are accessing and how they are using it. As you can see here, Java procurement agents is in the first on the list. It is being flagged as a high risk because of all the activities that you saw happening in the earlier demo as an end user. If I'm not familiar with the activities as a data security admin, I can double click and look at it right here. When I double click on Java procurement agent, as you can imagine, the entire sequence of events is captured here for you every step of the way so that you can understand why it is flagged for high risk. It's mentioning that there are some high risk activity that's been followed up here, and you can see that that particular agent is actually trying to access some exfiltration data and so on and so forth. And that's why the Java procurement agent is flagged as high risk. When I investigate further in the Purview Insider Risk Management and see the risky sequenced behavior, I can see that the agent has been operating with unethical behavior and accessing the sensitive data type. And when I look at deeper into the specific agent, I can see the type of risk that contain the sensitive information type. How the agent is interacting with the sensitive data. I can see there are a series of activities this agent performed, and then it's considered as risky. And it gives me more information about what are the activities that's been followed up in the insider risk management. From the legal perspective, agent interactions are also fully covered. That unethical interaction or that sensitive data access, all of that was carried over by the end user, all of it is recorded and preserved here for you. So you have the right transparency, you have the right defensibility. And the beauty of Purview is that you have one place to bring together data security controls with compliance investigations, all of which share a unified audit log of events. Here you can see how an admin can investigate this data security event for an agent in the same way they could do for the user. And here I can dig into the full audit trail of events, which is going to tell me more information around what time that particular event has happened and more details accordingly to that particular event. AI built with Microsoft Foundry supports Purview's enterprise-grade data security and compliance with the toggle of a button within the Foundry control plane. As part of this integration, we are now introducing the support for inline or real-time data loss prevention for prompts. Now, data security admins can set up DLP policy for Foundry in Purview to prevent end users interacting with Foundry built AI from passing any sensitive information into the LLMs. These sets, sensitive information types, can be Purview out-of-box sensitive information types or custom sensitive information type defined by your own organization. Let's swap to the GitHub Code CLI example, and the same visibility and the controls that we offer for cloud-based agents now extends to local agents running on the device. As Jeevan mentioned about it in the beginning of his demo, at Build 2026, we extended Microsoft Purview to cover exactly this surface. Purview extends data security scenarios, observability, preventing data exfiltration, and agentic risk detection for local agents built on GitHub CLI, Claude Code, OpenAI Codex, and OpenClaw. So the same governance bar customers is already trusting for M365 Copilot now reaches all the way to the local AI agents running on Windows endpoints. 3 things customers get out of the box is observability, data exfiltration prevention, and agentic risk detection. You can see Microsoft Purview instantly blocking prompts that contain sensitive data, Microsoft Defender detecting and preventing a prompt injection attack, Purview and Defender that are working together in the same console, same policies the customer already authored, just extended to new agent surface. So this is genuinely a one Microsoft story. And all of this incredible value is now available in Microsoft 365 E7. E7 features the advanced data security capabilities in Purview suite, the identity and access capabilities in the Entra suite, all the security guardrails you need for AI agents in Agent 365, and more. Now, I will pass on to Diana to wrap up the session. Thank you.
Thank you both for such a great presentation. We're now going to move on to the Q&A section. And the first question goes to you, Jivan. How do these Entra and Purview controls work together to secure agents?
I think the great question is very rooted into what we just talked about, right? So let me say this, like, while Entra secures the identity and access of the AI agents, Purview secures the data they interact with, right? So together, they ensure the right agent had access to right data, leading to your organizational governance controls and visibility into who is accessing what. So it's a perfect match, and I think you cannot sacrifice one for the other. I think for true enterprise control, you need both an identity and a data enforcement engine as well. Great question.
Definitely, we need both. We always need both. Really important. Now, our next question, I would love to hear from both of you. How can customers measure whether their AI security controls are actually effective? Safina, maybe you want to go first?
From a Purview perspective, success comes down to literally three things: visibility, prevention, and governance. Can I see AI interactions across my environment? Can I prevent sensitive data from being exposed through the prompts, grounding responses, and or even AI actions for that matter? And can I audit every interaction when something goes wrong? If the answer is yes, then your AI security controls are delivering measurable business value right there.
Just to add on top of it, Safina, I think for me, the way I think about this is visibility, right? I think for me, don't just focus on the alerts and stuff, right? Ensure that you can see all the agents, you can look at what's in the environment, and I think that's the right foundation.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely a question that we get a lot from customers. So I'm sure they're really, really happy to hear that answer from both of you. Our next question, maybe Safina, you can help us with this one. How should organizations balance AI innovation with the need for governance and security?
Great question, Diana. Thank you for asking. Organizations should not view governance and innovation as competing priorities. And that's one of the things that I really argue with our customers. The most successful AI adopters build governance into the innovation process from day one. And the balance comes from shifting the governance left. Instead of adding security after AI is deployed, organizations should embed data protection, access controls, and auditing differently into the AI. Directly into the AI experiences. So when governance is built into prompts, grounding responses, and agent actions, the teams can innovate faster because the guardrails are already in place. So this means that you are implementing 3 layers of protection, which is protecting your sensitive data by applying the real-time controls across your prompts, model responses, and enforcing that access permissions. So AI agents inherit and respect that existing data entitlements. And you're also providing that accountability and discoverability. So every AI interaction, decision, and the action can be monitored, investigated, and also governed.
Great answer, Safina. Now I have one more question for Jivan. Jivan, what's the one security capability that customers often overlook that would have the biggest impact on security in AI? I'm sure you've talked to lots of customers, so
Yeah, of
we'd
course.
love to hear your insights.
Yeah, I would go back to my favorite one. I think it's the visibility, right? If you can discover what's in your environment, right? Ensure that every agent has an identity, right? You know what they can do, you know what they can access, and continuously be able to monitor it. I think all the other controls that you have, they become far more effective. So I think for me, it's visibility is number one to begin with.
You hear that? Visibility is number one.
I echo what Jivan said. The most overlooked capability is knowing your data, right? Specifically, data classification and sensitivity labeling. Most of the AI security challenges aren't because of the model problems, but they are due to the data governance problems. If organizations can identify and label their sensitive data, Purview can automatically apply those protections across their prompts. And without that foundation, every other AI security control becomes much harder to enforce effectively.
Thank you both. Those were great answers. Now I have one more question before we end our Q&A section for today. If you could give every customer one piece of advice before deploying AI agents at scale, what would it be? Sabina, we can start with you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Dan. My advice would be treat every AI agent like your new digital employee. So before deploying AI agents at scale, you got to fix the oversharing before AI finds it. All your AI agents are incredibly effective at discovering, aggregating, and acting on the information. So if sensitive data is over provisioned today, agents will surface those issues much faster than the users ever could. So my recommendation is to leverage Microsoft Purview to discover sensitive data, identify oversharing risk, validate those permissions, apply sensitivity labels, and implement those DLP controls before granting agents broad access. That one step significantly reduces the risk while accelerating the secure adoption.
Yeah, and well, my advice would be almost identical, but aligned to my previous responses, right? Understand what's in the environment, right? Ensure that you can identify agents, have a strategy to have some kind of identity so you can track what the agents can do, what they can access, what resources they have, what privileges they have. I think if you can nail that down, that will go a long way. So I think that's one piece of advice. Start thinking about your agent identity and also think about your governance in long term.
Thank you so much, you both. It's been amazing hearing all the innovations happening both in Purview and Entra. So thank you so much again for joining us today and sharing all these wonderful insights. I'm pretty sure the audience is very happy and excited to try out all these new features and learn more about the incredible things that you both are working on in Entra and Purview. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So with that, we're coming to the end of today's session. If you'd like to learn more about the capabilities that both Jivan and Safina talked about today and discover how to get the most from Microsoft Entra and Microsoft Purview, we encourage you to explore these additional resources. As a final reminder, all of our previous sessions are now available on demand at the links here on screen. Thank you so much again for joining us this week and see you all very soon.